What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Kyle Pancis. We are in the 2004 Saab 9.5 Aero that was donated to the channel, and I just picked it up from getting an alignment after the subframe bushings and all of that stuff. So obviously it's running smooth here. We're gonna get on the highway, take it for a quick cruise, but in this video, stay tuned. We got another check engine light. We got to fix the cooling system that is leaking and a thermostat. And then, of course, hopefully, if we can address this silly engine light, get this thing through inspection and pass it already. So stay tuned. All right, guys, we are about to get on the highway. We've gotten as fast as 60 miles an hour so far, and the car is just smooth as silk. It feels brand new since we did all the bushings and engine mounts. There's not a rattle or creak in any of the bumps or anything like that. Runs just the way it should. So here we go. We're getting on the highway. Let's take it up to like 80. I'm not gassing it hard here. I'm just kind of cruising up the speed. Steering wheel is nice and straight since we did the bushings there and everything came off. And I'm at 80, and typical Saab fashion, you don't even realize you're at 80. So this thing is running freaking brand spanking new after all those bushings and everything that we did. So thankfully Firestone, I'm not sponsored by them or anything like that, but the guys there know me very well. I have like lifetime alignment packages on like all my cars, so they always just hook it up. They didn't even like question me on this one. They just did it, took care of everything, and here we are. Things running beautifully, and that's that. So let's get over to let's get home. We'll read the engine code. I suspect the engine code is the same code as we had in the last episode, which was P110. I did change the bypass valve, but the vacuum lines were all rotted out. So I suspect that maybe those vacuum lines are causing this engine light to come back on. So we're gonna check it out. I'm doing 90 miles an hour, and there's a cop over here that pulled somebody over. I didn't even realize my speed. That's how good this car's running. So let's get home. If any of you drive Saabs, you know what I'm talking about right now with how this thing feels. So you guys probably have a smile on your face like I do. So stay tuned here. See you here in a minute. All right, boys. So just a quick update for you. I just read the check engine light once again. It is P1110 again. Charge air bypass valve or performance problem. So I suspect we just changed the bypass valve. Before we bring this in for inspection, we'll get fresh vacuum lines, because when I pulled off the old vacuum line, it cracked off. So obviously all of those vacuum lines are probably dry rotted and cracking, and the car is picking up that and causing the check engine light. So we'll complete that fix with doing just that, and we should be good to go. All right, boys, it's later in the evening. It's the same day as earlier in the video. So we got 6 feet of fresh vacuum hose. So we're gonna get rid of that P110 once and for all, I hope, with some fresh vacuum line. Obviously the one vacuum line that's on there is all original, and of course it's fraying and peeling and cracking, so that's probably definitely the cause. So before we get into the vacuum line, which is the easiest part of this task, we're just gonna go into the bypass valve, which is located right underneath the ECU harness over here on the passenger side. It's on the firewall next to the brake drum or the brake booster. So you gotta remove the ECU, which is right here. You gotta remove this plastic cover and this and all of this stuff. So I'm gonna get my 2 hands in there. We're gonna do that, pull it out of the way. I'll even remove this plastic tray here for you guys to see. And it's pretty much right underneath here. That's where that sits, like that, or like this, or like that. We'll find out in a minute, so stay tuned. Alright guys, so once you get that harness stuff out of the way, right here is where the bypass is, where my finger is. You can see that's the bypass valve. So it's gonna be kind of hard for you guys to watch me on camera, but I will be wrestling that thing out. Alright boys, there is the old bypass valve. Now it's time to reinstall the new one wherever I have put that one. And then we'll go from there. Let's rock it out, guys. Alright boys, so we got the bypass valve in, as you saw. I started to change some of the vacuum lines, and of course I broke, I don't know, I've done this a million times, but I just hit the wrong angle and I snapped the plastic off one of the contraptions for it's actually for the gas pedal for the vacuum lines. They all connect underneath the harness, so I got some glue on it, hoping that I can salvage it and drive the car. If not, gotta go replace that. But in the meantime, while that's drying, we're gonna go ahead and put in a brand new thermostat, because the one that's in there is clearly stuck open because our thermostat is floating downwards when we're not accelerating, which means it's constantly cooling. So I'm gonna hop in there, let's get it done. Alright guys, so I decided tomorrow morning I'll go over to where I usually get my parts, cars, and I'll snag one of these. Off of there I broke one of the nozzles on the bottom here. So we'll just have to replace it, unfortunately, but it is what it is. In the meantime, we'll knock out the thermostat, and I also have a new bypass, or a new check valve that we'll go ahead and hook up while we're in here. All right, boys, so I just wrestled all that back together. I'm going to pull this car outside. I'm kind of curious to see if it starts because none of the vacuum lines are hooked up. So let's see how this thing runs. And we're just gonna hose off everything, get the coolant out of the system or out of the engine bay. And then tomorrow morning when the weather is not raining and it's fresh out and I'm not tired, we'll come back, top this thing off with coolant. I'll get the part that's broken so we can hook the vacuum lines back up and go from there. So let's see what this thing sounds like. It actually sounds okay. Let's pull it out. All right, boys, so we topped the coolant off. I ran the heat and I already saw the coolant level drop. So we're just trying to cycle this thing. You can hear the vacuum leaks under the engine bay, and it's obviously not good for driving around and fuel economy, but in this scenario, it's no big deal. We're not driving it anywhere. We're just gonna maybe rev it a little bit here to kind of cycle this fluid through the system. All right, boys, next morning here, we got our vacuum, a new vacuum valve here. So we're gonna just install everything and then we'll finally put everything back in its final resting place because we got the check valve in there. We got the new thermostat in there, so we should be all set to go. All right, boys, so we got brand new fresh rivets in there like factory. We got everything hooked up. All vacuum lines are all set. Everything is checked off. Everything's been replaced. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And everything is good. So we're just gonna go ahead and reassemble this in its final resting point with its 10mm nuts on there and clean up this engine. I'll probably do a degrease on the engine here. And we're gonna run it and still try to burp the system some more since last night we called it a night. Let's rock it out. All right, boys. Everything is back into place. No more vacuum leaks. Sounds good over here. And we're gonna go let this thing warm up. Looks like we gotta top off our coolant again. And then take it for a test ride. All right, boys, we are taking this thing for a little morning cruise now. Normal operating temperatures, no engine lights, and of course, when you throw this thing in the sport mode, it is super responsive and super peppy. So that is a good sign. Today we're gonna actually drive this thing full commute into the city, New York City today I gotta go. So we'll see if that coolant bypass is solved our coolant leak. So stay tuned. I'm also gonna bring this thing through inspection because we got to pass inspection this week. It's been 2 weeks since we've registered it. So we get a 2-week period. They're not real sticklers on that 2-week window, but figuring that I'm gonna use it this weekend quite a bit, it's good that we should have it all stickered up and ready to roll. Stay tuned, boys. We're looking really good here. All right, guys, it is later in the day. We officially passed New Jersey inspection, and my dad took it, and he was using the HVAC system, and we don't have any coolant leaking, and my friend is going to be driving it tonight, so I won't be taking it for a ride. So I'll keep you guys updated. Tomorrow I'll be riding it for about 2 hours just during the day, so we'll give you guys some live updates before we end off this video. But I just wanted to share with you that we passed inspection, no more coolant leak, vacuum lines are good, so we don't have any more P110 check valve, check engine lights, and pretty solid, guys. Pumped. And is taking his Saab virginity away.
Thank you, Kyle, really appreciate it.
How comfy is that seat?
It's like a cushion, it's like I'm in a rocket ship.
Yeah.
I feel it like protecting my sides, my side ribs. You know,
it bolsters all around.
Yeah.
Wait until you hit that accelerator.
Alright, here we go.
Alright, man, have fun. Drive safe. He's driving it on the highway really before I get to drive it on the highway. Alright, guys, so we've been driving this car. A little update for you, about 300-400 miles already this weekend. We have an engine light and we've had some issues with the brake light, ABS light, traction control light coming on, and we have a check engine light. So it's a sign that it could be the ABS module, but it also could be just a loose harness on the ECU. So we'll have to stay tuned. I'll give you guys updates as we go. But Colleen had a great time driving it like it was on the Autobahn yesterday. She cruised it, and everybody wants a Saab now in their family. So we sold them on the 9.5 because it runs so freaking amazing, and it's so much fun and so comfortable to ride around, especially when you have a full car. The back seat is so comfy, the front seats are so comfy. So all in all, for the first weekend journey, this car has been flawless. A little light on the dashboard is not the end of the world, so we can go in there and check that out. So stay tuned for that. We'll hit that up in the next video. It seems to like right now all of the cluster lights are off. It's just the check engine light, and then sometimes like it randomly pops on when you're driving. So I don't know if it's the ABS module going bad, or like I said, just the ECU harness is just a little loose, and you know, it reseats and unseats when you hit bumps and braking, whatever. So we're gonna go in there, check it out, and also just get a read on that engine light and see exactly what's going on. So stay tuned for that in the next episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you haven't subscribed yet, please be sure to subscribe, give this video a like, and as always, drop a comment below, follow me at Pancis. Thank you.